You have audio here. Let's see. It doesn't let me. There's no muting of Joel. I don't. There. Nope, I've got. Hello?
Oh, there we go. That's on over here now. Is that on over there now? No. Nope. Does it? I wonder if I fixed it last time. This way. Oh, maybe not. Very typical around here, though. I'll tell you that. This fucking shit gets insane. Very typical around here, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's back.
Oh, it's back.
You have audio.
Oh, it's back. Okay, well, did I fix it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
I did YouTube again, so.
Oh, we can hear now. Okay, there we go. I fixed it. I fixed it by clicking buttons, but this button over here is still nullified. This button over here, in the corner over here, it's nullified. It doesn't work. Okay, there we go. Well, you know, typical Monday technical difficulties. Oh, and I forgot to do the dual stream. Yeah, I forgot it again. Damn it, we're not going to get any vertical viewers today. We're not going to get no vertical viewers today, guys. Sorry. That's such a bummer, I know. We're not going to be able to get the vertical viewers. Yeah, I can't turn it on after the fact. I have to remember to turn that on, which is weird because you would think that you could set that just as the default, but I don't know.
Yeah. Actually.
Okay. All right. Well, we're back. We have audio again from not having audio. We had audio, then we didn't have it, then now we have it again, which is fucking amazing. I think people are in love with audio sound, right?
Welcome back.
They lust for it. Well, who do we have today? We got Witchy Cat, D-Rock, Mark, and what is this? Bare Bottom Branton? I don't know. I've never.
Is that again?
I don't recognize that. That must be new. That must be a new person. Well, welcome to the stream, Bare Bottom Branton. Witchy bitches, what's the news from the mountain?
60-ish, 68-ish, windy, sunny, struggling otherwise all good. Just another day in something resembling paradise.
Just another day in something resembling paradise. Okay, well I guess that's how the mountain's going. That's how the mountain's going today. That's the news on the fucking
I can't get off the mountain, so outside of my field, I have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine.
We got nothing. We got nothing for us, so we don't know what's going on. No report from Northern Washington. We don't know what's going on. There's no volcanic activity, though.
No, there's some fires in the area already. I mean, it started early, and the cattle are back, but you know.
Those got to be burn piles, though, right?
Actually, almost all of them were prescribed burns that have gotten out of hand.
Oh.
Broken containment.
Oh, they did the hey, we're burning this on purpose, and then now it's a forest fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed through my interactions with the the cult community, otherwise known as MAGA to some of you people, which I refer to as the cult community. I was talking to some of the cultists, and they were instructing me on how important it is to do prescribed burns, and how our forest management is all fucked up and we're just doing it all wrong. Which I thought was interesting, that that's suddenly the narrative, is that, well, we need to be clear cutting, because if we start clear cutting, we can manage the forests. Which, by the way, a recent report was coming out, came out last year after a long study, that the replanting that we've been doing is actually an absolute detriment to the forests that we have.
Yeah.
And it's funny because as we know, like Douglas fir is the it's the dollar tree. It's the dollar tree of the Pacific Northwest. It's worth $1. It grows super fast, and it's a tree. And we plant the absolute fucking living daylights out of them. And we're starting to create forests that are just a monoculture of one fucking type of tree.
Yeah, no.
Like there's an area down in Oregon that they replanted. I think they replanted 7 million saplings, I think, into the entire area, and it's basically all Douglas fir now, because Douglas fir grows in a kind of unique way. It grows fast, it grows tall, it grows straight, and then it has a high up canopy once it gets a little bit older. I believe about the 40-year mark, almost all of its branches down low are just fucked off. They're like, they break off in windstorms. The tree stops putting energy into them. They get quite large and they drop to the ground. It's Widowmaker City out there if you're not careful in the windstorm. But they're a high canopy, so they shade out everything down below them. So if you see, let me see if I can find an image of a man-made Douglas fir forest from from the ground view. Let's see if we can't find a reasonable image here of what the tree stand actually looks like when you're inside it. When it's just a replanted Doug fir. I don't know. It's going to be hard to find this image. That's too many words. Let's see. See if we can't find some of the images here. Yeah, it starts looking like this. This is the issue. Let me get the image for you, and it starts to give you an idea of what the forest itself starts to look like. Here we go. As you can see, on the right-hand side here, there's a lot of saplings that have been replanted. These aren't Doug fir. These actually have different tops on them. I'm not sure what they are, but they aren't Doug fir. But these are all Doug fir right here. Maybe these are hemlock, actually, looking at them. Nope. They say they're Doug fir. Okay, well, we'll believe it for the sake, because this is what it looks like when you're at the ground level of the replanted Douglas fir forest. There's just nothing but pine needles, and there's just nothing down here, because the Doug fir, as you can see, the canopy way up at the top here completely shades out, and it just drops all of its branches down below. Like I said, the tree just eventually just stops putting energy into these branches, and then they just break off and go flying. But the canopy at the top is going to essentially shade everything down at the bottom. And one of the things that is pretty apparent in the Pacific Northwest, if you have something growing on the ground, and you put it in the shade, it doesn't have a tendency to grow ever. It's kind of a thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if other people have experienced this before, but if you have a plant that's on the ground and you it's a Siberian pine forest here, this image. But it ends up looking a lot like this. Here's a Doug fir. Here's a planted Doug fir stand, as you can see here. That there's just fucking nothing growing at. There's nothing going on at the ground level here. And this is what they're starting to find out now, that once we have, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old tree stands that were all just Doug fir saplings, they're like, wait a minute, this forest has been decimated to the ground. like it's alive at the tops of the trees with the tree part, but everything else down here is fucked off. So let's see if I can't find what it's supposed to look like when you're in old growth. Let's get see if I can't find one here. It starts to look more like this when you're in the old growth stuff. That one big Doug fir will essentially dominate a space. Maybe this will load. Maybe this image will load here. But everything will start to grow down at the bottom because these Doug firs here are competing with other trees that were naturally seeded. So these ones they all didn't grow up all at the same time to have the exact same canopy and the exact same height, shading everything out. So it ends up looking like this, even though this image won't load. Let me see if I can't find yeah, more like this. Will this one load? I don't know. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it will load. A lot of these images, for whatever reason, are just not loading. But maybe this one will load? Here we go. This one loads, and you can actually see what the fuck I'm talking about. But you can see here that, there'll be one Doug fir that's dominating this area, right? Which will allow all of these other trees to kind of grow up around it, win and lose. But at the ground level here, there's a ton of biodiversity happening at the ground level, which isn't happening in the man-made forests like I showed you earlier, where the only thing planted there was just Doug fir.
Right.
So this is a giant concern because the people that are advocating for those burns and the forest management, right? This is what they're advocating for, right? They're advocating for, let's just replant the Doug fir like we're doing because look how much money we're going to make, selling the lumber. Because the cult administration has brainwashed these people into allowing themselves to listen to absolute untrained unprofessionals, right? The people that actually don't do forest management. It's a guy who does stock trades and business deals and shit. Although I will say that if this image could come clear for us, this beehive treehouse is fucking dope, dude. There we go. That's fucking tits, man. That's it. I gotta go. I gotta build a bee treehouse, beehive treehouse for my daughter. Fucking let's go, dude. Let's go. Actually, I am. By the way, breaking news. Breaking news on the live stream. Breaking news on the live stream, folks. I actually am planning on building a little treehouse like this for my daughter, and I have the spot all picked out for it. And maybe I'll make a YouTube video out of it. I don't know. I don't know if anybody noticed yesterday. I'm just going to start shooting the worst fucking videos all time and just posting them to YouTube Shorts. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to start recording 1 minute ramble of here's what I'm doing. Here's the dirt where I'm digging the hole. And if you want to watch it, you can. If you don't want to watch it, you can just fuck right off. I don't care. I'm going back to the roots of having an iPod Nano and just recording some shit and uploading it to YouTube. I don't give a fuck anymore. I was like, So I posted 2 shorts yesterday. You should go watch those 8,000 times and share them with all your friends so you're hip to the jive, baby. What's our content? How are we doing with our content here? Not good. We're not making any money, but somehow we've got more subscribers somehow. With my tactics of enraging every person that interacts with this YouTube channel, I somehow am still gaining subscribers. Don't fucking ask me how. I am. Somehow I am.
Members, Patreon members still accurate then?
No, it's dropped down. I don't know where it's at now.
Okay.
I got notifications. It's probably if I have notifications on Patreon. Yep, Glenn took quit, and Direct quit. So it is what it is. Let's go to the numbers. How do we even look up the numbers on Patreon anymore? There's a button around here. They keep moving everything around. No, Patreon is. It's actually more than our current number, but it's less dollars because there's a free option now that you can join Patreon. So we have 125, but I think it's 172 paid. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know. It's confusing. But realistically, what we were gonna talk about was the content. Where's our shorts videos? Here we go. We have to go over to a whole new thing. One of them I made at Witchy Cat's house. Got partially blocked. We had copyright material somehow. It had 0 copyright material in it, but it got copyright claimed and blocked in a whole bunch of countries. It's still on the list here because the last time I uploaded a short was the beginning of 2024. So I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to start putting shorts up again because who gives a shit? These stupid short videos are stupid, and I can just make them with whatever I'm doing.
Right, they're there, you're there, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's zero investment even for the viewer. You know what I mean? So we have 1,000 views on one of them, but we only have 200 views on the other one. I posted 2 yesterday, so if you didn't watch the other one, it gives you a full tour of
I was looking earlier. The ones that start off with your face seem to have higher view numbers.
And that's what you say because you're a pervert.
No, if you scroll down and look at the numbers.
I'm just fucking with you. Calm down. Fucking take a joke, why don't you? Jesus. All right, we'll watch yesterday's short here real quick to give you an idea on the chicken coop. Well, that's me yesterday. I got a haircut since yesterday,
the chicken
so
coop extravaganza.
I look sharp now, and I'm not covered in man glitter.
All right.
You no longer look feral. It's true.
So here it is. It's the monolith.
I also shaved my face, which means I'll probably get a fucking zit
Robert
later.
and I poured the concrete.
Good looking out.
Then, of course, I did the framing.
Somebody was commenting that like, is it making you mad that the Pink Panther is upside down? And I'm like, and I had to be like, yeah, I did that on purpose because I knew it was gonna drive somebody nuts.
And you go up this ladder.
All about the OCD,
This is where
man.
I keep the roof. I keep the roof up here at the top.
Yeah, I do have to say, like, the roofing this took me way longer than I had expected, and I do realize from talking to my buddy who's a roofer, because I sent him a picture of it, I was like, look how fucked off this bullshit is. And he was like, well, it's not bad. And I'm like, would you pay for it? And he's like, well, yeah, I would. I'm like, well, fuck, fine. Then it's okay then. But I sort of overbuilt it from what it really needs to be. With the interpretation that, like, I won't have to fuck with this for 20 years. That's kind of the idea. The idea is this will be unfucked with for 20 plus years. That just be, Vicky can have chickens as long as we, I guess, live here, which might not even be 20 years. Who the fuck knows? But it will be done.
Seems like the most sensible thing to do.
Here we go.
To keep the roof up at the top. As you can see, our old chicken coop is falling apart
Old chicken coop sucks.
with random stuff. This is the back part, and then here's the side with the windows.
A lot of arguments about where the windows were going to go.
Uh-oh.
Not arguments, but just, you know.
Framed up the inside.
Are you sure?
2x6. So this is 12 feet. 12 feet.
So let me pause here because the jury's out on the ventilation here. I don't know yet if this is like if these portholes are going to work enough for ventilation. I don't know. I'm not 100% yet. I did some stupid math of an absolute idiot doing math that this was going to work. Jury's out. I don't know. I won't know until this is up and running and the summer comes and goes is basically what's going to happen, because I don't need to get we don't need to get mold and humidities in here. We can't get the humidities in here. And Vicky says she has I think she has an inline vent fan that runs off of solar.
Yep.
So I might end up hooking that up, but I want to see how it works passively before adding a mechanical requirement for the ventilation. And this gap up here, I didn't mention anything about it in this video, but this gap in the wall is intentional because I'm going to have to cut this sheathing down because I'm going to put a giant beam that runs across here and runs and connects to the yard. Because Vicky wants a big yard that goes over that way, and they'll have to connect. So, but that'll be in a later shittily made video, so don't worry about that.
12 feet by 7 feet.
Yeah, we got 12 feet by 7 feet currently.
So far, so good.
Gosh,
Things are coming along. Today we're working on doing the interior.
You could live in here. You could lay down. This is better than a lot of those apartments.
Part here. We're going to do the interior walls. That'll be a different video.
I don't know. I don't know if that will be a different video because I think I already finished the interior walls mostly yesterday. As I was working on it yesterday. But putting the walls in is just like, oh, hey, look at me. I put the walls in. Like, woo, you know. I don't know. I don't even know if it's interesting. Maybe I'll make a video of just, nail popping. You know what I mean? Just shooting nails into plywood. But one of the funny things about this chicken coop, I had Vicky order the stuff because she kept kind of doing that thing where like, well, you just tell me what to do and then I'll because we have a communal credit card. It's like the family credit card where we put, we make payments on it and pay it off. It's for like stuff that we're doing, family projects, hot water heater, whatever. That we put money into it a long time ago, and then we just pay it every month, depending on what we want to do project wise. And I was like, well, you got to have some involvement here. Can you at least just place the order and like do some of the work? Like I just can't sit on the phone right now at the time I was like, I can't sit on the phone for 45 minutes. Why don't you call it in? I'll go pick it up. And so the thing was, like, the next day I went to pick it up, and her and Olivia were out of town. I don't know where they went somewhere. And I was just loading it in to the trailer with the guy at Home Depot, and it was a Saturday, and I never go to Home Depot on the weekend because, boy howdy, the weekend is a whole different. I understand that, like, people that go to Home Depot and they only go on Saturday or Sunday, they're like, that place is fucking crazy. And you're like, no. That place is crazy because of the customers.
right.
Like, the weekend customers have no idea what they're doing. And by the way, the weekend workers have no idea what they're doing because everyone that works on the weekend is all the part-time people.
Right.
Because if you have worked there a long time, you have seniority, and you're like, I want to work Monday through Friday, right? So that's one of the rewards you can get for your longevity of being at that being an employee there, right? So
Right.
you go there on the weekend. The customers are all crazy because they don't know what's going on. They're having arguments with their wife about buying a pot or
Paint or
a mulch or paint color or whatever the fuck. Yeah, it's crazy. Plus, everybody that works there is like, oh, holy shit. They're just thrown into the fire. And by the way, most of the part-time people that work at the Home Depot, you know, like I did a return a couple Saturdays ago, and there was a guy there, and I'm like, I've never seen you before. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm new. Like I'm just part-time though. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I'm an electrician, but I needed more hours. You know, and you're like,
right.
the fuck, bro? You're out there making like $80 an hour, and you have to have another job. As a side tangent on that, of course, gas is like fucking $6 a gallon, and you know, we went out to dinner for Mother's Day yesterday at a Mexican restaurant. We bought no alcoholic drinks. We didn't buy any guacamole. We didn't get any sides of sour cream. We got iced teas and 2 entrees. Olivia just ate some of the extra steak. She didn't want any of the kids' meals there at Mexican restaurants are hilarious. You know, it's like macaroni and cheese. Like, you have macaroni and cheese at the Mexican restaurant. Like, what are you doing? Can't be good. Anyhow, so, and you know, after tip, it was $78.
Jiminy.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, like, that's how much it costs to like go out now, which is nutty. Like, you know, and like I said, 2 iced teas, 2 entrees. Oh, we also got a side of pico de gallo, and a horchata for the kid. But that's it. You know, after tax, tip, and all that, it was like $78. You know, so
Okay.
I get it. Maybe the electrician took his family out to dinner once, and he's like, "Fuck, I got to get another job."
Right.
But anyhow, so I'm dealing with that guy on a return, and he was like, you know, I don't, you know, he's like, I'm only here, you know, 1 or 2 days a week, so I'm not really sure what's up with this return. It's not working. And you're like, okay, but that's indicative of the Saturday experience. So when I was there on Saturday, picking up that order for Vicky, I realized that the people are sort of lost. They're having a hard day, and so I'm like, okay. And they're like, hey, yeah, can you go around back and pick up your order from out back? The guys have it back there. I'm like, okay. So I go around back, park with the trailer, and then the guy starts bringing stuff out. And at the whole time, I'm just thinking, like, let's just get this loaded as fast as possible so I get out of this guy's hair. You know, like, let me just get out of the way for this guy. I'll get this shit in here quick. I'll get the fuck out of here, and he won't have to deal with me.
Right.
Just trying to be courteous, you know, in my mind. I'm like, I don't want to make this guy's day any worse. So let me just get it loaded, throw it in there. And it turns out they substituted fucking subfloor for the OSB sheathing, which is 3 times as heavy.
That
Yeah.
70
So
pounds versus 20 a sheet.
it's been
Why
heavy.
can't I do that too? Yeah.
It's been heavy. Well, OSB is, I think, like $9 right now, and subfloor is like $20. But plywood was, I don't know, $60 or 40.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
crazy.
Let's look. Let's check it out. Yeah, let's see here. OSB is, well, it's supposed to be $9.71, but for me it's eight something, $8.64. Yeah, plywood is $24.77. The siding, so yeah, initially Vicky wanted to do the plywood siding panels, which those are, you know, $50 a piece. Oh, I think what they did is I think that she ordered the 1930 seconds OSB, which is $19, and they just swapped it for subfloor.
Oh, okay.
Nope, this is what she ordered right here. The 2330 seconds is $24. But in my mind, that they were ordering 7/16ths, which is $8.74 a sheet, and then I was just going to sheet the whole thing and be done. But apparently, she ordered 2330 seconds, which they then swapped that with the 2330 seconds subfloor, which is heavier than even the fucking than the regular 2332 subfloor or sheathing. So yeah, fucking breaking my back lifting those sons of bitches up onto the roof and stuff. So needless to say, the chicken coop, it's a sturdy bastard. I was nailing on the wall and the thing wasn't even like bouncing around at all. If you catch my drift, it's like you could hang pictures in there with your fucking with your crystal sitting on the ledge and it's not going anywhere. With authority. Kiwi Mamo says, I watched them both. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. A really annoying... anyone want a really annoying cat? Jack has decided I should be petting him instead of typing. So he's headbutting the keyboard, also capable of sitting on the dog to get the best sit spot. Well, we would have to travel all the way to New Zealand for an annoying cat, and I assure you, there are plenty of annoying cats in the U.S. already, in the United States of America. D-Rock says, Douglas fir are like most aquarium stem plants. Indeed, they grow super tall and shade out everything underneath it. And, you know, like I said, the bigger studies are finding that, like, okay, like, let's say we want to do better forest management, because there's two wildly different perceptions on what that is. Like, if you're in the MAGA cult and somebody says forest management, you go, oh, okay, well, we need everything to be grown for harvesting, which, by the way, the MAGA cult people are the people from Washington State that were planting Doug fir in every single available spot that was available. And they clear-cut the forests. They clear-cut everything. I've talked about this on the live stream many times. Ronald Reagan flew out here on Air Force One for the to come to the aftermath of the Mount St. Helens eruption, and he was looking out the window of Air Force One, saying, "Oh my God, look at the devastation!" And they said, "Well, we haven't gotten to the that's not the volcano. That's just logging. Don't worry about that." The extent that Washington State was logged, I think, hold on, this is one thing I wanted to look up the other day. Remaining old growth trees. Maybe I looked this up before. Yeah. The Gifford, what is it? Gifford Pinochet National Forest, Trail 94 outside of Jordan Creek, provides access to rugged, elevated, forested areas in the Goat Rocks wilderness, which we were out there with the we were out there with one of the forest management peoples. We did a tour out there because they were like, hey, there's a free tour if you want to go with one of the rangers. And she was talking about some of the old growth pine, and she was like, yeah, we have some of the old growth pine here in the area. And she did bring up the point that oftentimes people ask, well, how many of those are left? And she said 7.
Wow.
So they cut them all down. There's only 7 left.
Insane.
Yeah, you can literally just go like, oh, there they are right there. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. I mean, like, what's the let me see. Hold on, I found a study from 1963. I'm trying to see if they actually have. Oh, this actually has all of the shade diagrams and all that in it. And so that's the weird thing, is that like they even knew about this shit in 1963.
We would want to pay attention to well-established science now, would we? That would
No,
be
why
just
would you
good.
want to do that? You wouldn't. I mean, that's the thing. You wouldn't want to do that because it challenges your internal narrative that you're the independent. You're essentially the independent, like rugged individual, like the Marlboro Man. You just haven't lost all your fingers yet to cancer. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, nowadays the average cut is only 47 acres. Because it got limited to 120 acres in... Well, it doesn't have the date here, but it was limited. Oh, here it is. Legacy forest and concerns. Here it is. How much of a percentage do you think right now in Washington State is considered legacy forest? Oh, as a percentage.
24%.
Nope.
Okay. How far off am I?
One more guess.
17%.
Nope. It's 13.2%.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Which
That's
means,
embarrassing. And we're supposed to be the green state, you know,
which means they cut down 87% of all of the forests.
Jesus.
Right? It's like people don't understand the extent of the damage that was done. You know, like, and here it is. That they're pointing out right here that while clear cutting has generally slowed compared to the peak logging in the 1980s, largely due to the implementation of the Northwest Forest Plan in 1994. which I was alive for. I was 14 years old, and this was all of the news, right? And the Northwest Forest Plan that did pass after a lot of protests and riots and people shitting their pants and crying. And the reason for that is that local radio, the conservative talk radio, claimed that it was all about the spotted owl. And I know that
I remember that.
I know that Witchy Cat is immediately thrown back into the 90s going with the spotted owl talk, which, by the way, we are 32 years removed from the Northwest Forest Plan getting passed, and I still see people talking about spotted owls on the cult pages.
God.
They still talk about it. I heard a spotted owl was there.
Right.
Recently in Bellingham, Washington DOT had to remove a painted rock. DOT removed painted rock. So there's a big boulder on the side of the road. Oh wait, now they're not going to move it? Oh, I have to sign up for local news. I have to pay for local news now. Okay, so we have two alternating stories here. Local news says it's not moving. The other local news says it's moving. It's what's called the Bellingham Rock. It's just a fucking rock on the side of the road, and people have been rolling up on it and painting it with whatever random bullshit they feel like painting. I know that this is probably strange for people not in the United States, but people in the United States, when they graduate from high school, they decide to do some kind of perilous maneuver with zero rock climbing experience. They go up onto a big giant rock, and then they paint in vibrant color the year that they graduated. So, like, let's say you graduated in 1963, you would paint a giant 6 and a giant 3 up on the hill or on a big rock somewhere, because that's important somehow. I don't know. I don't realistically know why it's important, but for some reason it is. Okay. Local Cairo News says that the Bellingham Rock was broken up and is now no longer being relocated. Okay, that's why it's no longer being relocated, because it broke while they were trying to move it. So the Washington State Department of Transportation says the beloved Bellingham Rock landmark will not be moved to another location after it was broken up to be removed. Washington State DOT crews determined it would not be relocated based on the way it broke up, a release said on Wednesday. Instead, limited pieces of the rock will be given to members of the community. The rock is a well-known landmark along northbound lanes of I-5 near Bellingham. Now, these are by the way, there's this huge outrage right now about the DOT having to move this rock. The rock was in a shitty spot up on a hill, and if you guys don't know, northbound I-5 near Bellingham was closed for a month because of a giant rock slide that came down and fucked up the freeway. So these are all the exact same people that are super pissed about the rock being moved, are the exact same people that are super pissed at the Washington DOT for not immediately reopening the freeway magically with a magic wand. It's the same group of people. It's the cult members. It's the cult members that climb up on the hill and paint a giant 63 on a rock up on the hill so that people will know that they graduated high school. Which by the way should be a default and shouldn't be like a celebration. Honestly, I still don't understand why there's a graduation ceremony for kids graduating high school. That should just be, it's your last day, go home now. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Graduating high school should be the default. That should just be the accidental. It should be like the bare minimum, you know. But the standards are quite low in the United States. You don't really actually have to be anybody to succeed here. You just need to be the child of a rich family, and then you just automatically succeed.
Something like that.
Washington State Department of Transportation identified the rock early in project development and began a structured review process to understand its significance and determine how to proceed. Fieldwork conducted in 2023 documented the rock as a unique geological feature that has been used for decades as a community message space. Washington State DOT conducted additional analysis and coordination as part of a required environmental and cultural resource reviews that included defining the project's area. So, like, why did they have to move the rock? They had to move the rock because the rock is located at the active construction area at Chuckanut. By the way, we have a creek here called Chuckanut. Okay? And there's a big giant fucking street sign where you get off at Chuckanut Drive. Chuck a nut. I mean,
It's also Chuckanut Cheesecake Company. Very good.
yeah, this is pretty good. This is good stuff. We'd eat some cheesecake. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's right.
So the creek there has been damaged by the community so ridiculously, and by, you know, obviously like human encroachment and stuff like that. So the creek, they're attempting to rebuild the creek so that the watershed can survive. And the issue with that is that rock is in a precarious place where it's going to interfere with that project. So it's like you're going to dig out underneath it and then just let the rock fall on the workers. Like, that's not good. And so the culverts here that they're replacing, it would interfere with that project. It's a $159 million project to help restore the fish runs back to Lake Samish, and I think it's fairly important project, right? But of course, the cult members are super pissed off that the rock that they would go paint is now broken, because I guess the DOT is just supposed to let the rock fall off the hill and crush them to death. I'm not sure, but apparently that's what's supposed to happen. And amongst those conversations, I constantly kept seeing, well, I heard there's a spotted owl nesting on the rock. And I just, you know, piecing that information together and being old enough to remember, like how vilified the Northwest Forest Project, like passing that legislation, how vilified it was, because the spotted owl. We were just trying to save the spotted owl. That was the only reason that anybody was interfering with the logging, is that we're just trying to save this one bird. Which, once again, was brought to you by the fucking Republican Party, okay? This wasn't brought to you by the Democrats. This wasn't brought to you by the fucking bleeding heart libcuck, whatever you fucking want to call us at this point. That wasn't brought to you by that. It was an attempt to start to regulate a giant fucking pox on the state that I live in, the state that I love, right? You know, we just discussed earlier that there's only 13% of the forest that hasn't been cut down in this state. It means that they already cut down 87% of it. And that includes all the national forests and national parks and state parks and all that shit. It's all been cut down. Where I live right here used to be forest. As you can see, I don't have a lot of trees in my backyard anymore. I had some precariously planted Doug firs that I had to cut down. And I milled them into lumber, because that's basically what the Doug fir is good for. Which is why they replant them. They replant them everywhere. Now, Should there be Douglas fir here? Of course. But should there be other trees also? Also, yes. But they're gone. So, you know, like if you have a big oak tree, which there's supposed to be oak tree in Washington, but they're hard to find. If you have a big oak tree in a spot, the Doug fir doesn't grow there because the oak tree doesn't give the seedlings an opportunity to take hold and grow big enough. So you actually end up with lower canopy areas, higher canopy areas, or like the madronas. Like we hardly have any madrona trees on this side of the mountains anymore. It's really hard to find them now. There's a few parks that have them, which of course you obviously can't go fucking with the trees at a park. You could get in trouble for that. So they're really hard to find if they're not on either private land or like a city park or a state park. So I mean, there's just a lot of trees that are missing. And in my yard here, I actually have a coastal sequoia, which I think it would be interesting to be around long enough to see it actually grow all the way. That's going to require an extra 300 to 500 years, but still it would be cool. But it is the one tree that will never be harmed in as long as I live on this property. Do everything I can to maintain that fucking thing, because there's barely any coastal sequoias out here. I've counted 5 in the area that I've seen. They're probably all related too.
Yep.
And the thing is, I live near the coast. I mean, I'm not saying I could throw a rock there, but the coast is right over there. It's not far. I mean, it's a 5-minute drive or something.
Skip Antigen.
Yeah, I mean, I could get right down to the saltwater real quick. There are many oaks in my area, but they're super tiny. Squirrels keep planting them, though. Yeah, I mean, you live in a neighborhood, though. I mean, like, we have to... I live in a neighborhood, too, right? But we have to understand that, like, the humans have taken over areas. And to me, that's fine. That's part of our existence. I don't believe that we should all live in caves or under a tree canopy, lighting fires every night or whatever. Like, I don't think that we should return to that. I think that if we're talking about forest management and if we're talking about managing the land, the first people we need to talk to are the experts, are the people that are experts in studying our biodiversity in the area and coming up with a cogent plan. But the problem is that every logging company will be in there to lobby on their own behalf, which I think that they should have the right to lobby. I just think there needs to be a positive rebuttal to the fucking framing that they're putting their message in, right? And a perfect example would be, like, today's stream title is to talk a little bit about the framing that comes from the Republican Party, that comes from the conservative groups in this country, and how they're able to influence things like the spotted owl discussion, right? Like, the spotted owl discussion still exists here 32 years later, brought to you by the conservative, Christian, business-owning logging guys who basically have zero values in reality, okay? They will tell you about family values and kick out their gay child out onto the street. They will talk about being pro-life, but they'll send their pregnant teenage daughter to go give away their child, right? And hide them from the community. That they need to go visit their aunt for a year or whatever, right? And then force them to give away their child instead of accepting them into their family, right? Because they're not actually Christians. They use the Bible, they use their religion as a cudgel against the communities that they live in. I've experienced this all my life. They claim that they're fiscally responsible, right? like no deficit, but then they deficit spend like nothing matters, right? They blow up the deficit. They remove, they strike down taxes that are aimed at the more wealthy paying a fair share of the incredible amounts of income that they're able to capture in this country. They do everything they can to skirt their responsibility while extracting wealth from the communities that they live in. And it's disgusting, and I'm fucking tired of it. And the main thing that I wanted to talk about today is the framing around your vote meaning nothing. Your vote meaning nothing. I've heard that from, you know, punk rock kids. I've heard that from dreadlock having patchouli smelling fucking hippies. I've heard it from people dressed up as vampires on the weekends. Right? I've heard it from all sorts of fringe communities that would describe themselves as a part of the left in this country. I've heard them say it. And every time I hear them say it, I freak the fuck out. And I want you to understand why I freak the fuck out. Because that messaging is brought to you by people like Ben Shapiro and the conservative fucking party in this country. Right? Your vote doesn't matter. You're just one wing of the same bird, right? You know, like you wanna steal some fucking indigenous messaging, right? It's one wing, you know, it's just two wings of the same bird. You're gonna get the same fucking bullshit's gonna happen forever. Like, what the fuck? Like, not to mention that, like, half the time if you look that up, there's a fucking American Indian in there, right? Hold on, let me see. Let's see if we can't find some images here. Oh, this one's pretty gnarly. This one has the claim the yeah, here you go. Like, here's a perfect example. Is it a perfect example of the kind of fucking bullshit that's brought to you by conservatives, right? That this is the narrative that the conservatives want you to start believing in, which is crazy because this is Republican messaging right here. This is what conservatives want you to believe. This isn't actual messaging from the left. This isn't this isn't a leftist talking point, but I hear this from people that consider themselves to be on the left, right? I hear them say it. Oh, here you go. Here's one. Two wings of the same diseased bird, right? Now, we could sit down and have a conversation about how the Democrats haven't followed through on things that they said that they were going to follow through on. We could have that conversation. But the idea that this is the exact same thing and don't bother voting because you're going to end up getting the same result regardless of what you're voting for is a message brought to you by fucking Pastor Steve from whatever fucking bullshit church on the weekend because he got an email from his conservative think tank group that feeds him all of his fucking bullshit that he comes out and spits at people on Sunday from the pulpit of this imaginary God that all these people worship, right? And I don't think that most people realize the amount of coordination that has gone in. If you change the channel from Fox News to OAN to what's the other one? Newsmax to all this stuff, they are all following the same marching orders and putting the same shit out there. And I didn't realize it as much when I was a kid. And the reason I bring up kind of the spotted owl scenario here is that narrative was force-fed to the public from the powers that be that, oh, if we pass some regulation on the logging in Washington State, it's only because these lib cucks want to save a spotted owl. Right? And conservatives don't value nature when you actually put them to it. Right? They'll tell you a narrative that they have made up in their mind that, like, I'm a hunter, I ride a horse, I wear cowboy boots, I wear a hot collar jacket because I gotta keep the wind off my back while I'm out here working with my hands. And it's like, motherfucker, you hang drywall and shop at Safeway and drive a fucking Toyota Corolla. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? You're not this imaginary guy roping cattle on in the West, right? But they'll claim that, like, oh, I'm all about agriculture. I care about the farmers. Like, you don't give a fuck about farmers. They don't give a fuck about agriculture. They don't give a fuck about maintaining nature at all. They don't care. And the reason I can easily point to that is, oh, did you have to get a deer tag this year? Right? How many times have you heard your conservative hunter buddies absolutely shit their pants that they had to pay $125 for a deer tag? That it's unreasonable that you would have to pay for a deer tag. And by the way, if you are a subsistence hunter, there's paperwork you have to do to file, and guess what? You never have to get a tag for anything. If you're an actual subsistence hunter. I know some up in Alaska. And by the way, there's a lot of restrictions that also fall into that too. You can't get caught shopping at the grocery store if you're a subsistence hunter. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Yeah, you can't just be out buying fucking burgers on Saturday and Sunday and then being like, on Monday you shot a moose off season because, oh, I'm a subsistence hunter. It's like, weren't you at the Burger Master on fucking Saturday? What the fuck are we talking about, motherfucker? Anyhow, but more to my point is that they don't care about land management. They're stripping the Forest Service. They always have. They complain about any time they complain up and down, make endless YouTube videos about game wardens showing up, right? That the game warden's coming to fuck with them, right? That Fish and Game is coming to fuck with them. It's like, well, do you have your permit? Do you have your papers to be out here so we can keep track of the animals? Like, they shot all of the bison. Remember? They killed all the bison.
Photos, and now they want to take even more of them off the range.
Well, I'm just, yeah, that's a different, I mean, that's almost a different fucking live stream. But my point here is that they don't really care unless it serves them in some way. Unless it's like, well, I love trees because I cut them down and I get money for it. You're like, okay. It's like, I love nature because I drill a hole in the ground and I get oil out of there and I make money from it. Like, okay. Like, I love cows and cattle. It's great because I raise the cows and then I make money from it. It all boils back to, like, is this a monetary gain? And if there's monetary gain to be made, their morality gets thrown straight into the fucking garbage because it never existed. Like, there's not even a conflict there. They're not even conflicted about the fact that they're happy to extract wealth from the earth and scoff any responsibility and all responsibility around it. And it's, frankly, it's fucking disgusting. And, like, realistically, my message here is that people on the left, including myself, need to talk to every single fucking person that you know and get them to fucking vote. This shit is driving me up the goddamn wall that over 87 million people didn't vote in the last federal election. And the reason I bring up the federal election for the president is because our highest turnout is for the federal election. That's the highest. The highest turnout means a third of eligible voters just fucked right off, shit their pants, completely skipped it altogether. Do you think it gets better as we go down with the lesser percentages? I mean, I forget what it was. We looked it up on stream. I think like we saw in one of the districts, 11% of eligible voters showed up to vote for their local.
Yeah. And in states like Washington, where everybody thinks, oh, well, it's all blue anyway, so what's it matter? Which is not the case, despite what it looks like on a map. It gets ugly fast. So everybody's like, oh, well, we're going to win it. It's all Democrat. It's okay. You're like, no, it's not. You have to leave the western side of the mountains occasionally.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even that you have to leave, right? It's the idea that, you know, rural communities believe in their minds, because they've been told this, that liberals are putting policies in place that are affecting the way they live their lives. That's how they feel about it, right? Rural communities think that they're being governed by liberals, which is not what's happening.
Nope.
What is happening is that more of a majority of people that live around other people come to realize that there is a betterment in improving the systems that we live in, right? Which will eventually move you in whatever percentage your expectation is, it will end up moving you left. It's like if you know some Somali people and you see on Fox News that Somali people are being targeted unfairly and disgustingly by shitheels like Tucker Carlson, right?
And Nick, whatever his name is.
Yeah, whoever the fuck these people are. You get what I'm saying? You go, wait, that doesn't seem right. I know a bunch of Somali people, and they're not like that.
Yep.
And but the problem is that, as by the way, I constantly hear this all the time from the cultists, is that you're in your echo chamber, right? It's like,
yeah,
you're in your echo chamber, and it's like, echo chamber? What the fuck are you talking about? You haven't left your house in God knows how long
right.
to go anywhere in the world, right? Like,
Did you even get another channel at this point?
That is a question. That is a question when it comes down to it. And the weird thing is, so like I've told you guys to watch The Necessary Conversation, and the weirdest thing has happened. So the dad on The Necessary Conversation died, was resuscitated. His health has taken a serious downturn. And the mother of that's been involved in The Necessary Conversation has been essentially engrossed in the, you know, hoping that her husband doesn't die situation, right? As opposed to watching Fox News all day and Newsmax all day and OAN all day and shit like that, right? And the strange thing is that all of a sudden she's starting to fucking change her opinions on what Trump is doing and isn't doing, right? And the reality is that those people that are constantly fucking arguing with me about how I'm in my echo chamber, right, are absorbing like 24 hours a day a fucking absolute drip-fed line of gruel from the fucking Fox News to just believe whatever the fuck they're telling them. And they have no other contact with other people. It's like, when have you left your state? Let alone like the country, okay? Like how terrifying that fucking is. But like, when have you even left your state? Which is crazy because like the parents on the Necessary Conversation, they haven't left Oklahoma in fucking like 20 years or something.
And he was a Vietnam vet, as I recall, or is a Vietnam vet.
He was in the army during Vietnam.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he went over. There's some there's a lot of questions about like what his service actually was.
Okay.
What's his name? Chad McClutchin, I think is his name.
I don't think I've ever. I've never been able to sit through a full episode because I just want to backhand Dad. And then Haley for continuously interacting with Dad. Just like, I get that that's the point of the podcast, but I can't.
Hold on, what's his name? So we could look up his dad. Chad Clutchin, not McClutchin. Okay, Chad Clutchin. Got his name wrong.
Yeah, Clutchin doesn't really sound
I've loved his content because I loved Will Sasso, right?
Right. Well, I like the son, and I do like Haley on her own, and even when she interacts with Mom. But Dad, man, he just. I think it's because he reminds me of my own father, who I just couldn't stand. So that's probably a little PTSD on my part.
Yeah, because I think that the dad is a veteran, but I think that
because he constantly says he just won't talk about what he did over there. That's the times that I've watched. He says, I don't want to talk about that. I won't talk about that.
Well, I don't think that he was deployed.
Okay. Maybe that's why he doesn't talk about it. I don't know.
I don't think that he was deployed. I don't think he was.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of McCutcheon, but not.
But not a lot of catching.
No. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I remember that there was a lot of so I know that like he was a number that was going to get drafted, so he signed up. Which is pretty common back then. It's surprising that like a lot of people weren't drafted. They just knew that they were going to get drafted. Which is it's a very common story from the Vietnam vets that I've known.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. It's hard to find specific things. I think I would have to get into the military history records thing and start figuring it out. But I think he was stationed here. I don't think he went over to Vietnam. I don't think so.
All right.
There was something weird around his service that he didn't want to talk about.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's because I'm spelling his name wrong.
Okay, that could be a problem.
Hold on. Yeah, that's the weird thing is that like his parents were calling for civil war 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I said, I started listening to this podcast because Chad did a podcast with Will Sasso, and I've always been a fan of Will Sasso. And they did a couple of different podcasts because they did the Dudesy one and they did the one before that where it was the 10-minute
Format.
It was the 10-minute podcast.
Okay.
And so who was it? It was it was Chad, Will Sasso, and what is it? Tommy Bloch or whatever the fuck his name is.
I don't know who that is.
He what is it? Tommy Bloch, I think is his name, or Blatch, or whatever the fuck his name is. He writes for he's a writer for the World Wrestling, like the WWE.
That would be why I don't know who he is. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, but oh, here it is. Yeah, it's Tommy Bloch. So they stopped doing the 10-minute podcast because yeah, or Tommy Blacha, that's his name. He got the job being the writer for the for the WWF, basically, right? And so they kind of had to stop doing it.
Okay.
And because of that, because he was like, look, I'm just too busy doing this. I don't have time. But they initially did it because it was the 10-minute podcast because the 10 minutes was all the time that they had. So the podcast literally went on for 10 minutes, regardless of what else was going on. Like, even if the show was like, they had a whole bunch of shit going on, it was basically like, oh, there we go. That's the end of the show. And it just quit after 10 minutes. But it was quite funny. Like, I kind of became a fan of him around that time. And once that ended, it was like, okay, well, whatever. And then Chad Colchin, that's why his face was fucked up. He got skin cancer right after that, and they had to cut off part of his face. That's why his face is like the way that it is.
I wondered what was up with his mustache, but
yeah, they had to remove part of his face because he got some kind of crazy skin cancer, and so they stopped doing that. And then he started doing the necessary conversation with his parents after that because he's in an attempt to like, hey, if we're in a public forum and we do a podcast like this, they can't go completely insane. And then maybe they'll show up for it because there's like a little bit of backlash from the public if they don't, right?
Right.
And that was kind of the reason for it. But the reality is that you do kind of see behind the curtain of like abject brainwashing of like 24-hour news cycle shit playing in the background with with absolutely zero
life experience behind it.
No, zero accountability on the news stations themselves. Like, there's just zero rules or regulations around what they're doing. Like, they're just allowed to do and say whatever the fuck they want, basically. 24 hours a day. They just make shit up. And they
Well,
just put it out there, and then it's like, well, you know, what else do you want us to do? Like, we're in a click-based economy. We have to get the clicks, otherwise we don't get the money, you know. And you're like, I think that there's a better way. You know,
right.
I think there's a better way where you could I mean, even if you just looked around the world, it's like the BBC is a good example, right?
Yeah.
Where like there's direct accountability for the people that are working at the BBC. Like if you got on there and just started fucking doing One America News Network shit, you get fired and shamed about the country. Like you lose your job for lying and being a fucking liar, right? Not only do you lose your job, you also lose your income from being a fucking liar, right? You know, and then on top of it, you like where else are you going to get a job? You know what I mean? Like where are you going to get a job after that?
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you've been shamed. But we don't have that here. We don't have any kind of accountability. It's like Tucker Carlson lied about the fucking 2024 or 2020 election over and over and over and over again. Fox News got sued for $787 million, and Tucker Carlson gets fired, and then just launches his fucking own Twitter show, and people just give him fucking shitloads of money, you know. So I don't know. We don't have the accountability. That's the weird part. So
yeah,
speaking,
go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it drives me nuts and it saddens me because I don't know. I mean, I still remember Walter Cronkite on the news. I still remember early Tom Brokaw, where these voices were trusted because they were reliable. And so to see these, and even then, of course, we know there was spin, but it's just so painful to watch what has become of what something that should be vital to our ongoing education as citizens. It's frustrating.
Well, so the issue back then is that in the U.S. we had a BBC style accountability. We had BBC style accountability from the fact that like if Walter Cronkite got on TV and knew that he was lying, and he basically got caught, he would just get fired and shamed into fucking oblivion, right?
Exactly.
Whereas now you have like Candace Owens talking about a dream she had at some point about whatever weird fucking conspiracy that she just dreamed up. Literally, not even figuratively. It's like literally, right?
It felt so.
And then like, oh, well, obviously I'll just go blast this out there, and then there's zero accountability. I mean, she's been talking about how like Macron's wife is trans for what, a year now?
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, well, you know, she's getting sued in France, and then they just ignore it, you know? And it's like, well, where's the U.S. government overseeing some of this stuff? Well, what the U.S. government is currently up to is erecting golden statues for fucking Trump, because that's what our president was doing over the weekend with the fucking church guys there. Yeah. Erecting a fucking golden statue of Trump. Which, by the way, in this image right here, I don't know how the boys from Amazon are like clairvoyant. I don't understand how they're clairvoyant as to like what the fuck has been going on, because I don't even know if you've seen the newest episode. Homelander erects this golden statue of himself in a church. Here's the side by side on the stream right here, if you're wondering what those are. Homelander erects a golden statue of himself in a church, and the church of Homelander is basically what's going on in the show. And somehow this is happening at the same time. I don't know if like the show is influencing the world and the people in the world are so shamelessly fucking like monsters that they're just going along with it, that basically maybe people saw the show and thought, wow, that's a good idea. Because I do know that like a ton of the MAGA people were watching The Boys and couldn't figure out any of the themes of what was happening in the show. They didn't realize that they were being made fun of watching The Boys. They didn't realize that. Did you know that?
No, wow. It takes a whole different level of self-denial to pull that one off. Okay.
Yeah. They didn't realize that the Boys was making fun of them for season after season after season. They didn't even realize it. Until people started pointing it out that like, you do realize they're making fun of you, right? And they're like, no. It's like, you know, the next episode comes out and like the mustard stained fucking MAGA hat wearing fucking buffoons like do some absolutely fucking stupid shit, but they're not wearing MAGA hats, right? That's where the cognitive dissonance kicks in. It's like, yeah, but he wasn't wearing a MAGA hat, right? And it's like,
okay,
yes, because it's intellectual property, and it would be so on the nose if they just put MAGA hats on everybody that it clearly would be. You would catch it.
To give you a little credit for intelligence. Yeah. Our bad. So sorry.
Right. And yeah, and it's super crazy. So I don't know if it's like the world is emulating art, or if art is emulating the world, or if Ennis himself is just clairvoyant or something. I don't know. It's very weird. As they say, like art imitates life. Isn't that what they say? Right. Something like that? Yeah. But it seems like life is imitating art now, which is just bizarre. So I don't know.
Well, but art has become such a strong, or is in the age of the influencer, it's easier for creators to use art as resistance. And it's always been a movement. I mean, that's always been art at its heart, but it's grown now that everyone has those tools in their hands should they choose to use them.
I mean, I suppose so. I'm just saying, like, it's a huge Amazon Prime production, you know.
True.
Like, it's
not. I wouldn't expect Bezos to sign off on that, given the rest of his decisions.
I'm just saying that, like, obviously Bezos was like, yeah, they won't get it. So, I mean, he was right on that. They didn't fucking get it, and they probably still don't. They're probably still in denial that, like, they're not making fun of me. You know, it's like, yeah, they are. They're literally making fun of you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do know that, like, there is a point where, like, they're making fun of certain things where I'm like, I almost see a parallel in myself sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know I do a live stream. What is this, a podcast? This could be a podcast. You could call it that, I guess. And they definitely make fun of that in the show, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is this bad? Am I doing the wrong thing? But I do know a couple hundred people watch it every week, and maybe I don't know, maybe it gives somebody comfort. Maybe that's the thing. But
speaking of doing Alpha Bro variant too, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on, I gotta find some dick pills from the from the gas station.
You need some horny goat.
Hold on, let's see if we can't find something good.
You're not out there telling us that
if
your woman has an Instagram account or wears makeup, she's low value and you should dump her.
Hey, if you guys are interested in getting rock hard boners, don't eat this, don't imbibe this. Buy a 72 pack of railroad chalk. Buy a 72 pack of railroad chalk and go write some stuff on the ground. And you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so fucking, I'm feeling my internal artists so much that it will give you raging boners. This
And
is
you'll
not
get arrested.
This is not
And they-
doctor approved. This is not medical science. I am just a guy podcasting on YouTube. That's my disclaimer. Buy yourself some railroad chalk and go right on the ground, and you'll probably feel better. And by feeling better, you might get a raging boner. I don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. It's hard to say.
That's funny. That's funny.
Don't forget, if you're shopping on Amazon, click through our link, and then we get advertising dollars. We take the advertising dollars from somebody else, some other shitty company that's worse than us.
Penny cents.
Well, on that note,
Okay.
I must remind people that I have responsibilities. My wife has left town again for work. I have to go to Girl Scouts. I'm gonna put on my brownie uniform and show off my gams
You said last week
for
you
the
didn't wear them.
Girls Scouts. Actually, I'm gonna wear the exact same outfit I'm wearing now. I got to go to Girl Scouts because Vicky is flying on an airplane as we speak. Or something. I don't know. Maybe she's landed. Let's see. Let's check the phone.
It'll blow up.
It says, I already miss you both so much. That's
Aw. How's the pup before you go? What's a pup date?
it. The pup is recovering.
Okay.
The pup is recovering, but still all scratched up and fucked up. She's got a bleeding leg hole and a dog cone on her head. Hold on, let me go find her real quick.
She's wearing the cone of shame. In my experience, that the worst part of the cone of shame are the 3 a.m. licks when it amplifies the sound.
This is Marcy, the marzipan. She's got a cone of shame on her head.
Cone of shame.
And she's got some stitches over here. She's got a big hole in her leg. She's got a bunch of other stuff going on. She's definitely got the cone of shame on. And she still is pretty frightened and a little bit scared. But she is a good dog. She's a good marzipan. She's a good marzipan. And the other dog is so mad at me right now because she's locked up in a kennel because I can't trust her
Uh-oh.
to not attack a dog. She's still in heat, and we can't get her spayed yet because we have to wait till she's not in heat anymore. This is a little marzipan. She's been torn up, but she's been pretty good about it, and she's getting around just fine now.
She's got a sweet
And
little thing.
she's done with her antibiotics. She does have this crazy hole in her leg, but the vet assures us that she'll be okay.
Aw. She's got a sweet little thing. Poor little girl, all shivery. I have wild turkeys fighting in my yard outside.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know. I want to get out of here. I don't want to be in your office. The other dog is howling at the moon because she's locked up in a kennel because I can't trust her. got to kind of figure out a better scenario for her at this point because leaving her in a kennel fucking sucks. Yeah, so that's today's show. Shout out to Mark, Alyssa, Kiwi Mamo, D-Rock, the Bear Bottom. Anybody else I missed? People were not chatting very hard today, so I don't know. Yeah, but I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic whatever.